Okay, this here is excuse me. Okay, this here is our cantaloupe, and I started it on a single trellis up the center. It was only about 5 foot tall. No, less than that maybe. I don't know. And then I extended it when it started growing. It's about I don't know, 90 inches tall, something like that from the ground, and it's 9 feet long. And I think I planted 13 cantaloupe plants in there, staggering them along both sides. And it took off pretty well. And at first I thought, you know, my initial thought was to shoot for 30 cantaloupes on this. But then we started having pollination problems, and it was lagging. You didn't see many fruit come on, so I lowered my expectation down to 20. But then we made some changes in the garden here, and maybe it was the Mother Nature, you know, but we bounced up to 30, and then 40, and then 50, and now we're at 60 cantaloupes on there. And they're good size ones. There's a few, you know, personal size, but most of them are average size. Some are big. The trellis, I'm going to anchor it at the top now because of so much weight with all them fruits and the windage that it picks up, that I'm a little concerned. But that's we're, like I say, up to 60 cantaloupes right now, and that's, you know, double what I originally thought we could get out of this. And they're it's been relatively maintenance-free, other than weeding the the vines up through these little shelves that I built. Although the trellis is just, you know, only a few inches wide and straight up and down, I built these little 5 or 6 inch shelves that hang on there to hold the cantaloupe, so that the weight would be distributed kind of evenly. And that not only did it support the cantaloupe weight, but it also gave the vines a lot more to cling to. And as you can see, they got, you know, fuller. It's probably about 3 foot wide now. And up at the top, though, there's none of these shelves. Most of them are about the halfway point on down. A few of them are up higher than that, but it did considerably help, I think, the structure of the vine, enable it to hold more weight overall, and I think it contributed to keeping the melons, you know, from strangling the vines and maybe not getting as big as they should, or maybe not having as many. So I'll give you a little tour of the in here. See, there is a cluster of 5 cantaloupes in one spot, and that's not the only place that happened. And there's even more on this one shelf. Now, see, some of them didn't quite make the shelf, and they're hanging there, but the object was to get the majority of them on there to, you know, make it effective. Like I say, the ones higher up, they're hanging, and I did build a shelf or two in excess of that, like one out here in the front, little tiny one, that to house this one that cropped up on the end. And there are a few that did crop up on the ends. See, so, but the shelf here, we put ladybugs on here because we got aphids now, but I'm hoping it's only on part of it, the infection, so I'm hoping the ladybugs will get to work on here, start producing. But anyway, there's a shelf, and it's just a very basic wooden shelf I built that and secured from the back with some wire, baling wire. The shelves are made just as some very one by one that I cut out on the saw, and then they have their grates in between. So I can find you a good shot here. They're these little 3/8 inch dowels that I got for free, and I drilled holes in those boards and glued them in there. So it's like a little ladder, sideways ladder basically, and it's got a little L-shaped bracket on each end to hold it up, and worked out marvelously. All over here. I think the only ones that did not get many cantaloupes on were the very lowest first level of the, which is only a 1.5 or 2 feet off the ground. We didn't get many cantaloupes down there. Only a few. Most of them are in the middle, and then now they're starting to figure on the upper deck. I mean the upper part of the trellis, and it's also branching out a little bit, here and there. In fact, our number 60 cantaloupe is on this vine that just shot away from it recently. And we got drip irrigation in there. That's how it's getting watered for the most part, although I do come in and spray it at the bottom once in a great while to keep the compost and stuff that I have on the top layer, keep it keep it to dripping down and breaking down the nutrients in that. So we got peppers planted alongside of it and cucumbers on the other side. And this side here is just, there is more cantaloupes on the south-facing side than on the north-facing side. Not by a lot, but just a little. And there's one spot in the dead center that didn't do squat, right about here. The very dead middle of this thing, they're in that very middle row on this side didn't produce but like 5, whereas the other sides you've got some have 13 and 8 and 12 and 10. This middle part, this middle section, 3 feet, got some on the upper but none on the lower. It's only, I think, 5 in the whole thing. As you can see, it sways a little bit with the wind, so that's why I'm going to put a little support in there now, even though I have the trellis the posts are driven into the dirt, but it's kept so moist. I'm kind of fearful that the weight is now going to become a factor since the weight is up so high. But that's a very good amount of cantaloupes for such a small area. 60 thus far, and there are some new ones coming out. I see it slowed down in production at this point, not stopped at all, but we went through a period where it was just very big, pushing out new ones every day, lots of them, and we lose a few, but usually when they got big enough, about golf ball size, they could usually count on them. Then we went through a period now where there's even some golf ball size ones are starting to fail, but we have stopped gaining so much and we've stopped losing so much. There's only a few losses and a few gains now, so I think we may go higher, but it's hard to say. But again, it's 9 feet long and about 7.5 feet tall, and about 3 feet wide at its bottom. So that's worked out to be a good formula here. There's I mentioned that some are big and most of them are average size. This is a fairly big one in here. I can almost put my hand about 2/3 way around it. I don't know. I mean, halfway around it. It's it's what you'd find in the grocery store. And there's other ones that are smaller. I don't even know if they're full grown yet, though. Sometimes they gain their girth at the last bit. But most of them are fairly sizable, and nothing I'd be ashamed of claiming I grew. And certainly that I'd see them in the store somewhere. They're good size. Some new ones coming out still. Like I say, here's one on the end. It's not very big yet, but it's and there's some new ones here I have not. See, I don't count them when they're like that small. That's just too young to say that's going to be one, because I see them fall off of it. And like I say, this late in the game, they don't seem to be as durable now and as plentiful. But my God, 60. That's quite a product. Quite a production for this size. So, that gives you my tour.